Hey everyone, welcome to another match of Temur Rogues. Today we're playing Tron. Gonna be an interesting matchup. We play Magus of the Moon main, and we can traverse for it. So depending on how our first 2 or 3 turns go, we can actually hose Tron pretty quickly. That being said, all of Tron's threats are no match for ours, apart from maybe Tarmogoyf. So our plan of attack here is to ensure that they don't actually get to deploy those threats. So I'm thinking here first. I think attack makes sense. We're gonna fetching greedily here. Cast a Mishra's Bauble. And see what our opponent is going to get next. Temple Garden. Alright. Playing the green variant. Or potentially green-white variant of Tron. Our opponent does nothing. Second turn. No surprise. Fetching here so I can get my second Fairy Miscreant on the board. Get that draw. And now we're going to attack. Let's see what we get off of Looter il-kor. Misty Rainforest. Alright. So at this point, we'll get rid of Stomping Ground. Misty Rainforest will be useful because we can go fetch a forest. And then we'll be safe for our Blood Moon-like effect. Chromatic Sphere comes down. Our opponent does not have Tron yet. Opted to go for green. So that's kind of a save for us. Now, our Lightning Bolt goes to the face because we really are not going to have a lot of options in terms of targets for our opponent. They're pretty much all bolt proof. So we draw Mishra's Bauble. We don't really need it right now. We need everything else more. We only have 3 card types, unfortunately, so we're going to use the first Traverse to get another island. And get this, and use the second Traverse for Magus. Oh, I go for Huntmaster. That is interesting. Wow. Alright, well I had no idea that's the decision I took. And I am curious to see if that is the correct line of play. Wow, I was so certain I'd be going for Magus of the Moon, so this is a surprise for me as it is for you. Thragtusk. Alright, that's not what I expected. I guess that is a proper Lightning Bolt target, but I couldn't have known. Huntmaster comes down. We're gonna play our island. But it looks like I'm keeping it there for some redundancy. In case we draw something really, really good that we want to throw our island out for. Fairy Miscreant is not good enough. So instead, we're going to play our island and dig. I think Tarmogoyf is probably the answer here. Again, surprised that I'm not on the Magus plan because that's what I would have wanted. Let's see if the Huntmaster plan plays out in my favor here. I chose to chump. So Ugin is huge here. Huge problem. Yeah, and just like that, my entire board gets wiped. And I'm not overcommitting. And yeah, Karn is a concession. So I feel like I made a mistake there not playing Magus of the Moon. And I mean, in retrospect, it was kind of stupid to go for Huntmaster, and I think that was just a lapse in judgment. Ceremonious Rejection almost certainly should come in. Mana Leak is arguable. And I'm taking out some number of Mishra's Baubles to make room for the cards I'm bringing in. And by some number, I mean all of them. Yeah, Mana Leak I think is weak here. Phyrexian Revoker is just... I mean, it could potentially shut down Expedition map, but it could also shut down a Tron land. Our opening hand is weak to removal, but given the deck that we're playing, I think it's fine. Worst case, we could use Traverse to get our other lands. We most likely will. To get our island drop. So... And we are starting. So that's also a benefit. Again, I'm kind of shocked by my decision on game 1. I'm very shocked. So we draw Scalding Tarn. Fetch an island. Yeah. This early in the game, we're not really going to be mana leaking anything. We traverse for land. Yep. Saw that coming. A bit of trouble here. But we do have mana leaks, so if something does come down next turn, we most likely can leak it. Obsessive Skinner making our Tarmogoyf a tad bigger. Let's see what our opponent plays. So yeah, Karn's gonna get mana leaked. Our opponent might have rushed there a little. We still only have 3 card types, so we can't traverse for Magus, but we can wait a turn for Magus. Let's see if our opponent has something else they can cast this turn. This will be the last turn they can do it. I'm okay with these plays. If all our opponent does is ramp this turn, I'm very, very happy. Blast Zone. Okay. And our opponent concedes. Weirdly enough, I think they saw that they weren't going to actually get there. And I mean, if you look at the board state, I had a huge Tarmogoyf. They weren't going to have anything next turn, and we were going to come in for near lethal. And we also had Magus of the Moon that we're going to be drawing. So I think our opponent just saved both of us some time and moved on to game 3. And I think that's probably the right decision at the end of the day. Although, still a bit surprising. Our opening hand was bad. The second hand is much better. We can aim for Blood Moon. Turn 3. We most likely will, since Serum Visions will give us the opportunity to dig for lands. In this case, we still need to dig for a land because we can't have our shock land be non-red providing. So we need it to be a Stomping Ground or Steam Vents for Blood Moon to be effective here. I would pass on both. I would pass on both. Do I pass on both? Yes. I still have 2 turns to draw the correct land. And a Ceremonious Rejection is also very good to have because it means if we don't get Blood Moon turn 3, we can still keep blue mana up to counter, hard counter a colorless spell. Assuming our opponent is going for Tower. Blast Zone. Maybe they have Tower in hand. Okay, Blast Zone is still scary. We get our Stomping Ground though, so that's beautiful. Now we don't have to rush. Just double checking Blast Zone. They won't be able to do anything on our turn. So we are pretty much going to slam Blood Moon. Call it a day. At this point, if our opponent doesn't really have an answer for it, it's GG. Yeah, it looks like they did have that tower. If they get a green source, they could potentially do something. Just like that, actually. So Nature's Claim is going to take care of our Blood Moon. In terms of card types in the graveyard, we have 3 right now. Need to make that 4 and a Traverse to be able to go and get a Magus. So let's see how that goes. Nature's Claim was good though. Our opponent, rightly so, gets a Forest. We get another Looter il-kor off the top. I decide to pay for the Breeding Pool. This way we can counter potentially 2 spells. I'm assuming our opponent sniffs a Mana Leak, but they don't know that we have Ceremonious Rejection. They do nothing, potentially fearing the leak. We get Traverse, which is perfect, because now we can Traverse for Magus to the Moon, just not yet, because we don't have Delirium. I'm fine for hitting them for 5. Coming over Looter il-kor. So they're going to put a counter on Blast Zone. Destroying all of our creatures right now would give us Delirium. Unfortunately and fortunately. So we could go and get... Yeah, that's going to hurt. We couldn't go and get Magus of the Moon next. Now if they try and... Okay, they're not going to try and resolve that. That's good. So we're going to attack in and see if Blast Zone gets triggered. It doesn't. I don't even think they can use it right now. But we do have the ability to discard our extra Looter il-kor. And now we can Traverse for Magus of the Moon. Before I actually play Magus, it would probably make sense to go get an island. And let's see what happens. Yeah, I figured Blast Zone was going to get triggered, but that's okay. We just have to make sure that this Magus of the Moon sticks. So no Looter il-kor. And we'll attack for 2. And I think at this point we have our opponent. Land draws are really not what we want, but what are you going to do? Traverse is actually perfect. Now we can get many things here. We can get a Magus, another Magus of the Moon for redundancy. We could get a Tarmogoyf for extra threat. Looks here like I was really thinking, okay, what threat do I want? I mean, in theory, you can get a Huntmaster, but you could see here I was pretty scared of a removal coming down on Magus, so redundancy makes sense. And again, now we have a Spell Pierce, which could, in theory, counter a removal, depending on how much mana it costs. But it does not look good for our opponent, and we win the game. Alright, so game 1, I feel like I just misplayed there. It was a very weird decision to go for Huntmaster. I think I was a bit too cocky, maybe. Or maybe I just blanked and forgot that I play Magus of the Moon in the main. Either way, I think that probably cost us the game, because Magus would have done a lot more damage to our opponent, would have delayed them. They wouldn't have been able to cast their Ugin or their Karn, at least not in the turns that they did. And yeah, we kind of punted on the first one. Game 2, we actually did much better. We were about to draw into our Magus of the Moon and lock our opponent out. Our opponent was already facing a 6/7 Tarmogoyf, which was just going to get bigger every turn anyway, and they were basically 2 swings away from being killed, and I'm assuming that their hand was just too slow, and they decided to concede. That's in our favor. Game 3, yeah, we get our Blood Moon down, it gets Nature's Claimed, which is fair, and then we traverse for our Magus, we lock our opponent down again, then we traverse for a second Magus to make sure that our opponent is locked for good. Our Looter il-kor doing some work there. Even though it's only coming in for 1, it actually helped us get to Delirium thanks to its discard, its looting ability essentially, once it deals damage to an opponent. So yeah, again, another good example of how all the cards in this deck come together to allow us to win, sometimes in weird ways that you don't often see in Modern. Again, why I really enjoy playing Temur Rogues, and you should try it out as well. If you enjoyed this match, please give the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. If you enjoy my content in general, I would love it if you could subscribe. It helps grow the community, helps let other people know that, hey, I'm making content, and it lets me know that you enjoy my content and you want to see more. Thanks, and have a good one.